He'll be back in a moment. Welcome everybody who has joined.
You need to be quiet.
You gotta love those pets.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, well, we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I have 3 cats, and as soon as they hear me chatting, they're like right up on my lap, and they're quiet, but
Yeah.
they have to be in the space. So, all right. So, Roger, welcome, and everybody. We have a few people have joined already, and I've been looking forward to this all week because I've been looking at your articles, and I'm like, there's so much there. There's so much. So I wasn't quite sure how to do the promo. What words do I use? What is the exact topic? Because there's so much, and I can't wait to first introduce yourself, and then there's a few things that I pinpointed that you wrote about that I'd like to cover if we can. But go ahead, let's hear about you.
Okay. Well, the short version is, hi everybody, and I'm Roger Aldridge, and a lot of my higher level experiences that are described in my blogs are within a collaboration with Michael Perfetto. And he's a traditional Chinese acupuncture, well, we try to rephrase this, traditional Chinese medicine practitioner. So, he does acupuncture. He's also a Chinese herb. I guess you'd say a Chinese herbalist.
Yeah.
Working with, like various Chinese herb formulas. This was part of his training. He does medical qigong. He's very sensitive, very intuitive, very grounded. What else about him? He's a composer. And when I was getting to know Michael, we quickly discovered that not only are we both composers, but we went to the same music school.
Wow, small world.
Yeah, the Berklee College of Music in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
And, we didn't go there at the same time, because I'm older than he is. But yeah, this was a very, I would describe it as a preordained collaboration, because it's clear to us that we absolutely needed to work together with this. And I had been interested in traditional Chinese medicine for a very long time. A good friend of mine, when I was living in St. Louis a long time ago, was deep into Tai Chi, and I was interested in that. But I felt intimidated by it because I felt that I would have to do a lot of memorization, and it just seemed like a good match. But then after I moved to Maryland in 1995, I met a woman, Frances Gadner, and she was teaching qigong, and she was also teaching Tai Chi and Tai Chi sword practices and acupuncture and herbs. So I was at a workshop where she did an introduction to qigong, and it was the 8 pieces of brocade at the time, and it was magic at first sight.
Yeah.
It was exactly what I wanted, because I had done yoga for a great many years, but I reached a point where it felt like I needed to move.
Yeah.
And so qigong was, the perfect thing. And with the 8 pieces of brocade is 8 movements that are repeated a number of times. And so I thought, well, I can memorize this easily enough.
Mm-hmm.
So I had been doing that since 95. And I had a couple of other acupuncturists. And so my interest in traditional Chinese medicine, and then the various branches of which qigong and tai chi are a part of the overall structure of traditional Chinese medicine.
Yeah.
And I guess long story short, the acupuncturist that I was working before Michael, her name was Robin Johnson. And by the time I was working with her, I was already feeling deep connections with the stars. And in particular, the Pleiades.
Okay, well, hold on. Let me just interrupt you for 1 second, because that's another topic that I really want to get into. I'd like to stay with the qigong just a little bit, and tai chi, because I too do that.
Okay.
Yeah, years ago. Pardon me, choked on myself. My throat chakra is all excited.
Here, I've got some water.
Oh, thank you. I actually have from my garden, speaking of herbs, cleaver. Yeah, for my lymphatic system. I was feeling a little poofy this week, so I felt I needed. First of all, I want to welcome everybody here, Juliana, the bathrobe guy, and every Amanda, everybody else here. Thank you for being here. All right, let me just back up a bit. And you were talking about Tai Chi, Qigong. Years ago, I want to say, I don't even know, 6, 7 years ago, my doctor had said, oh, you need to do yoga, because I was starting to get, some lower back issues because my root chakra was blasted. And I'm like, yoga, not a fan, but I'm willing to try. So I tried it and I'm like, nope. Because anything that I had to put my head down below my heart, I'm like, nope, this is not for me. Nope. Nope. So I'm like, well, what kind of exercise? Because I'm not a runner, I'm not a jogger, I don't do all those crazy things. I like walking, simple things. So somehow I stumbled upon Tai Chi, Qigong, whichever it was, and it felt really good. I took some classes and I'm like you said, I can't remember all this, but just moving so slow and mindful was where it was at. So I took a little spin on that and I did intuitive moves, which is perfect because this way you can connect your mind, body, and spirit more so with your body and say, my shoulder blades up here feel a little tight. What burdens am I carrying? Let's just stretch those out a bit. And then you start doing these intuitive moves and it just feels, it was a lifesaver for me. It just, got my body back in shape, my back in particular. And it's just a nice connection. Like I said, mind, body, spirit. So
beautiful.
Yeah. So I agree with you there. And particularly the medical qigong, I'm not quite sure what that is. Can you talk about that a bit?
Sure. There's many forms of moving qigong practices, many forms, and it might go into the hundreds or even thousands. But medical qigong is a different branch. Let me see. I'm trying to think which it is. I think moving qigong is considered like an internal practice, whereas the medical qigong is considered an external practice because the practitioner is actually doing direct qi, like through the hands into the major organ systems. It's very much like having an acupuncture treatment. But
without the pins.
Right. This is done without the needles or there's very little touching.
Right.
It's mainly just like a direct energy.
Is it similar to Reiki then?
I suppose so. My knowledge of Reiki is extremely limited, but energy is energy.
Right.
you know.
And it's just focusing, whatever title you give it, it's, getting energy from source and just, focusing on it and sending it or placing it where it needs to be. So the medical, I'm sorry, so the medical qigong, so you need a practitioner for that. You just can't do that yourself?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm saying correct based on what I know.
Okay. Interesting.
Like someone that's very advanced with medical qigong, it's perhaps they could do some work on themselves, but that's beyond my understanding.
Yeah. I don't. I mean, you never know. I mean, you just the mind is a powerful thing. Like for example, I do. I have high cholesterol, so I would focus my energy like just on my arteries or veins, my heart. Like I would visualize everything and just focus energy on that. Either placement of crystals or just intention, really, and just focus on that. So it might be similar, I guess, maybe.
Yeah. Well, the thing about medical qigong is that it's very structured. When I have a treatment with Michael, he goes about it in the same way each time. Like in terms of like going through the major organ systems, the sequence that's done. And what it does is that it enables flow and balance.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, very, very important to the higher level experiences that we're having, that I can get into that in a little bit. But, it's just a very extraordinary experience to go through that. And then what we find is that like when Michael's working on a particular organ system, and when I say that, I don't mean necessarily like the physical organ, rather it's the energetic system that would approximate that organ. I think that's a good way to put it. At least that's how I remember Michael explaining it.
I see.
So when he does that, all kinds of higher level experiences begin to happen.
Yeah, this the energy work when it comes to qigong or tai chi is so powerful. Let me just quickly share a story, an experience that I had. I was watching I don't even know what movie it was, but I was lying on the couch, sleepy, and they mentioned the word qi on TV, and it was like somebody threw like a bucket of water on me. I just woke up and I was instantly like, qi? And then it was like a major download from lying flat, being relaxed on the sofa. I got up and I just got this download of intuitive movements to activate each one of my chakras. And this, I mean, it just like that. And I stood up and, with the root chakra, I stood like a tree. And then the sacral chakra was like a sensual kind of move. And then the solar plexus, and then the heart, the throat chakra. And then, the activating, the third eye, then of course source. And then once you went to the crown, the move was just to bring it right down through the body and recharge everything. I did that first move within, 30 seconds. And I just felt like I was blasted in a good way. And I'm like, what? And I still do it just about every day. But that first day, I thought it was so cool that I did it about 7 times. I was so overcharged, I could not sleep that night. I'm like, all right, well, thank you for that download from whoever. But note to self, once a day is ample.
There you go.
All right, let me just welcome everybody. Lindsay, Joanna, Dee.
Hi, Joanna.
Hi, Joanna. Yes.
I want to give a sound out to Joanna because I've only been on Substack for 18 days now.
Oh, really?
And Joanna was one of the first people that I stumbled upon.
Mm-hmm.
And, I saw what she had written about higher level dreams and things like that. And I thought, wow, that's pretty similar to what I'm experiencing. Yeah. So we went ahead and did a follow and subscribe to each other.
That's nice.
I've been following her work.
Yeah, Joanna's amazing. As a matter of fact, we did a live. It's also on my publication, so everybody can go view that. And it was because of her. She's like, you might want to meet Roger, because it was. I'm like, okay. So thank you, Joanna.
I watched that video. So then that was my introduction to you.
Well, look at that. We're all friends here.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, I mean, people don't meet by accident. We all have a common thread. We all support each other. And it's great to chat about these things like medical qigong and more of the things that I want to find out about you, about star beings. Let's please talk about that now, please, if we can. I know that you mentioned that because I know that we all have a common thread of that as well.
I would like real quick to give 2 more shout outs to collaborators that I see being on Substack. Michael just created a new profile. So like he's a brand new member on Substack. So look for him, Michael Profetto. He's just starting to do a little bit of writing on his profile. And then Anouk Sophia is a very dear friend, and we have done a series of videos on her YouTube channel, and I have links to them on my website.
Oh, good.
And she was the one that encouraged me to see what Substack might be able to do for me.
Yeah, great. Yeah, and we'll check out those names after this. Everybody go to your Roger's profile and find out all those links and look into those profiles and give them a little boost as well.
Yeah. I would like to mention one quick thing. The way that you were describing the movement through the chakras, like, did you go up and then down?
Roger, it was so intense, and it just, I almost dislike using the word download because it's kind of overused, but that's the only word that fits. From 1 minute I'm lying flat on the couch to the next minute I'm standing up doing these amazing chakra activation moves. So it started off, grounding, working its way up through each chakra, going way up to the crown, soars, bringing it back down. But then after that, I received, I'm like, I don't feel like it's complete. They're like, you're right, it's not complete. So they gave me one more move where from left to right, and this is where the qigong comes in, where I would go similar to that move, which is to level out all, the energies and also to mirror. I still haven't figured out what the mirror part was, but it was just hand over hand, left to right, to balance and mirror the energies. So it was very specific, and this is Walter. This is my buddy that joins me on all my lives. So, it was very, so we did, from lower to up and then back down and then around, almost to cover, do like a 360 from top end to bottom.
Oh, it's very, very cool that you're so sensitive to the energy work.
Oh, crazy sensitive, and that's a good thing. I mentioned, I think I wrote a note on my profile page that a lot of people complain that they're so sensitive, and I get it, but this is a good thing. Oh, we have 11 members. Thank you, everybody. Woohoo! Magic.
It's not
members, people in the chat area watching.
Yeah, it's definitely a good thing. One needs, like something that Anouk and I talk about in our videos is how it's good for someone to have a daily practice. And the way that we've talked about it doesn't matter so much what that practice is. I mean, there's so many beautiful things that one can do, like in particular, like if they go outside, in nature and do the practice.
Oh yeah.
To have something each day that helps them to focus, balance, and ground. And in that respect, a vision came to me a number of years ago, and I was seeing the ocean, and like a whale came up, and it like blew its water and then took in air, and then went back down into the depths. And for me, that spoke to having a daily practice,
Oh,
where where you connect with, higher aspects, higher qualities of your consciousness. And then, you ground that, and then you can carry that consciousness, or, like those emotions, whatever, insights, if you will, then through the rest of the day.
yeah, definitely. Now, do you this movement of energy, is this something that you do throughout the day, or is it just the beginning of the day, at the end of the day, or just when you feel that you need it?
Well, I have a structure. I don't attach a particular time to it, because, like my wife and I have our two older grandchildren living with us, and then our dog Figgy, and so there's always stuff going on. So, like basically, I do my morning practice when, like it feels like it's a good time to do that. So, might take a little bit to describe that practice. It's really a blend of some traditional Chinese and traditional Mayan practices. And so in this practice, I first ground myself, and then connect with the stars. And then I go through the 4 directions.
What, compass points? What do you mean 4 directions?
The compass points.
Yeah.
I follow. There's a Mayan elder in Guatemala that I've had a connection with for a whole bunch of years, so I've learned a lot from him. So I follow the particular way of working with the 4 directions that I got from him, and it feels perfect for me. The order is not circular. There's like a east and west arm. So I would start with the east, and there I think of the color red and then fire.
Oh, talking about color, I love it.
Goody.
Goody.
And I also think of that as lesser yang. And then I turn then to face the west. So this is like one path.
Okay.
If you will. And then that would be west, the color black, the element earth, and that would be greater yin.
Interesting. Now, hold on one sec. Where are you getting these? Are these your intuitive colors, or is this?
No, these are from the Mayan elder.
Oh, I'm writing that down.
His name is Rigoberto Itzep, E-T. No, ITZEP.
IT. Now, is he also mentioned? Is this also mentioned on your?
Yeah. I have a page about him.
I'm going to have to visit that, or send me the link. I know you have more to continue with that, but I too resonate with the compass points. I wanted to say that earlier when we were talking about qigong.
Yeah.
Go ahead, finish your
point.
Yeah.
So east, west, and then turn counterclockwise to the north. And see, with the ancient Maya, they didn't think in terms of compass points.
Mm-hmm.
Rather, like east would be sunrise, west would be sunset,
right?
North would be above, and then south would be below.
Right.
So then, that's how I think of it. But like here we are in this time and place. So then we use directions, northwest, north, south, and so for north, that would be the color white, the element air, and then that would be greater yang, the expansive.
Yeah.
And in this method, yang leads to yin, the grounding. And then I would turn to the south. Again, it would be counterclockwise, and that would be the color yellow. And here, yellow is kind of interesting. For the Maya, it represents ripening, like ripening corn.
Interesting.
And so this would be water, and then lesser yin. So then after going through the 4 directions, then I would turn back toward the east. I usually do the shortest way, so that would be counterclockwise going to the east. And then from there, then I connect with Father Sun. And one of the things that I also do each day is to follow the Mayan time energy cycles. This is called the Cholquin. And this is based on a 260-day cycle. And it consists of 13 numbers and then 20 day signs or archetypes. And so, like as an example, there's, like with the first day sign you would start with, it would be number 1. The next day sign would be 2. And so you work it up to the 13 numbers, and then that cycle starts again. Mm-hmm. And then you continue working with the day signs. So the permutations of 13 times 20 is 260. Mm-hmm. And so for me, each one represents a particular energy quality or a particular intelligence. So like I connect with that, with the sun, and then connect with the earth. And then before I go into the Star Nations connections, there's a Mesoamerican goddess that I've felt a connection with for a long time, Tonantzin. And so I just feel a connection with her and, all of nature, the intelligence of nature. I just feel this very strongly as a maternal kind of quality. And then from there, I start working my way up through a series of connections. First is connecting with my higher self. And then I connect with my guides and helpers. And as we'll talk about shortly, I feel a very strong connection with the Electrostar system in the Pleiades, in the 4th planet that's called Akazanan. So I connect with the Electra system, that planet, and as we'll talk about, on that planet, there's a golden pyramid that I've experienced any number of times. So I just feel myself in there connecting with this range of what I call Kazinian frequencies. And
I know. As a matter of fact, I'm going to interrupt just for a second. It was at that point when Joanna and I had our live chat and I was mentioning the experience I had with Pyramid. She's like, you need to talk to Roger. I was like, okay. It was at that point right there. Let me just back up just a wee bit and wanted to add my thoughts about the compass points. Because I too, in the morning when I do my Tai Chi, Qigong, my intuitive moves is what it is. I also start at east. And the colors for me, it's different for everybody with this color thing. And I connect with the angels when I do this. So it's Archangel Raphael. It's pink. It's it's a light color. It's the air element, and it's just very light and airy, which is a great way east to start the day. Then I make a sweep to the right, and here we have south, which is Archangel Michael, fire element, red, hot. A protector. Little bit much to start the day, so we just put him aside. Then I swing to the next point, which is west, Archangel Gabriel, sunset colors, orange, element of water, and a nice way to end the day, sacral chakra. And then I moved back to north, which is Archangel Uriel, grounding earth, brown, also sometimes red, depending. It just depends. There's no one specific color in that case, but it's brown and red, and north. And those are the compass points. So depending on what I need or feel that I need for that day, if I need that fire, if let's say I'm doing a live and I'm just not into it, I would go to that south compass point, call on Archangel Michael in the red. As a matter of fact, I was going to wear a red shirt today, and I had it in my hands. I'm like, nope, that's just too much color, too much energy. Don't need that today. So I have a nice neutral. I'm like, okay, this is good. This is neutral gray. And because I connect, I mean, my publication is From Color to the Cosmos. Color is a huge part of how I do a lot of what I do. All right, so that was just my 2 cents with the compass points.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that's really good. I'm glad you said that, because there's so many ways of working with the 4 points.
Yeah.
There's many different systems, like the assignments of attributes to each one. The method of either doing circular or so in the case of the Quiche Maya, it's not done circular, but they still recognize the solar path.
Right. Yeah.
With this, but let me mention one more thing, because this kind of ties in with what I think you're saying, the way that you do it circular. I had done circular energy work for a long time. But then when I started working with Don Rigoberto, as he's called, I learned that he does this, like what we would call the east-west and north-south. And for me, that was kind of curious, but I just felt a connection with this.
Yeah.
Doing it this way. The horizontal can be called the path of life, and then the vertical one can be called the path to the stars.
I like that.
Yeah, it is. But then a couple years ago, one of the messages that came to me, and I think actually Michael heard these words and then told me about them in one of our sessions. It was just a simple phrase. It said, working in pairs. And then when he told me that, some images began to come to me about working with balancing yin and yang in various ways. But one of the main things that came to me about working in pairs, I saw a bar magnet. And so it was, of course, I'm trying to get it with the camera. So, it was, of course, like this, and then you would have like a positive and negative poles. But then what I saw was 2 of them, and then they formed then an equal arm cross. And so then when I saw that perfectly fit the work of this, the ceremonial approach that Don Rigoberto used with the directions. So I could see like the horizontal bar magnet, the positive sign being east, the negative sign being west, the vertical bar magnet, then the positive would be north and negative would be south. And when I connected the dots this way, it just totally,
it's interesting. Yeah,
totally made it for me.
You had mentioned stars a few minutes ago, and also in your blog post, in one of your articles, you mentioned that you were a star traveler. I think I read, right? Those were words that I heard during a hemisync meditation. Okay, let's talk about that just a bit.
Yeah, I should mention this because we're going to cover a lot of ground. It looks like when
yeah, but that's intriguing, and I do want to cover. We have another half hour. I want to talk about the star beings and star traveling that I wrote down that you saw in a meditation. But I do want to talk about those two things before.
Yeah, perfect.
Yes.
Yeah, when I started working with Michael, I was having all of these flying dreams.
Wait a minute, like lucid dreams flying? What?
At the time, I did not know the terminology lucid dreaming.
Okay.
I just had these experiences. I would call them vivid dreams.
Okay. Yeah.
But I didn't know that phrase for a long time, and then at some point I heard lucid dreaming, and I thought, oh, that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Joanna and I were talking about lucid dreaming and flying, and I've been doing it my entire life. When I first started lucid dreaming, I only flew like a foot off the ground. But decades later, the more you lucid dream, and just for me, the higher you're able to fly.
Yeah,
I love that. Let me hear about yours.
What I kept dreaming about is that I would see myself standing on the ground. And then I'd focus my mind in a particular way, and then up I'd go, and then I could just go wherever. It was like, it was. I would describe it as like flying on the wind.
Best feeling ever, isn't it?
And so this kept happening in various ways. I remember one dream where I saw myself flying over the Andes. But I started telling Michael about these dreams, and he asked me if I knew about Robert Monroe, and I didn't. And so he told me a little bit about it. And at some point in Michael's past, he went to the Monroe Institute and did the Gateway program. So he suggested that I get Bob's book, Ultimate Journey. And Bob wrote 3 books, and Ultimate Journey was the third one, about out-of-body experiences. So I read the book, and very quickly, I found a page where it was talking about how flying dreams are images of traveling in different ways, different methods. This could be actually out-of-body experiences.
Yeah.
So yeah, that really spoke to me. And in reading Bob's book, a lot of what he was saying seemed very similar to what I was experiencing. And then even more, I found Rosie McKnight's 2 books. She was a very early collaborator with Bob and the Monroe Institute as part of the Explorers. And so she wrote two books about her experiences. And in reading her books, it sounded even more similar to what Michael and I were experiencing. It would be like Michael would correspond to Bob in his sound technology lab, and the experiences that I was having, going out who knows where with my team of guides was extremely much like what Rosie was having with her team of star beings. So yeah, I just I wanted to share that little.
Yeah, I mean that's another big topic. Gosh, Joanna, I wish you were joining us here. I know there's 3 people that we could do online. We're gonna do that next. She and I were talking about that as well in our last live. That now the lucid dreaming and the OBEs, is that something that you could do on demand, or just it just happens whenever, like randomly?
Well, have to think for a moment. I would say, in some of the earlier years, like maybe within the last 20 years, or 25 years maybe. It would be mainly during sleep. But then, in particular, working with Michael, and we've done so much work together. The other day, being curious, I totaled up the number of blog entries in my Out and About blogs, and it was 498. And sometimes Michael and I joke with one another, and they say, like if someone had even one of these experiences, it would be life-changing.
Oh, yeah.
But here we are with this much work that we've done.
Here we are.
So now, like the connections with my guides and other star beings that are helping with is constant. I don't have to do anything. There's no work. And I'm connecting with the higher levels of my consciousness. Again, it's just right there. There's no work to do it. So, like right now, I'm feeling a connection with my guides. And
Always.
I didn't do anything. It's just.
Well, sometimes when you just mention them, they're like, they're right there.
Just thinking, it's all it's
intention. Yeah. Which
yes.
is, I wanted to say that when it came to sleep paralysis and let's see, an OBE. In my case, I know that I watch for patterns because I'm very scientific. As a medium, all these things that I experience, that I'm very scientific. So when I see a pattern of something happen, then I could say, okay, this is validated. Now with sleep paralysis, out-of-body experiences, OBEs, I know for myself, I know it's different with everybody, that when I am extremely tired, not just tired, exhausted, to the point is I can't take another step from life, from family, from working, from whatever's emotionally or physically, that's when they get triggered. The time travel, the sleep paralysis, which is awful. That's never a good experience. But the time travel can be amazing. Sometimes, a little scary. I have one scary experience. But as far as the lucid dreaming and by location, that's, again, for me, is intentional. I can set an intention, and 9 times out of 10 it happens. So this is after years of a lifetime of working, with those elements, that I was able to say, okay, I want to do this. As a matter of fact, I did it just the other night. I said, I haven't had a lucid dream in a long time. I'm listening to Joanna's cool stuff. I'm darn it, I want to do some fun stuff too. So I'm going to have a lucid dream tonight. And it was minimal. I because I have other things that are apparently more important for me to work out than. They're like, okay, well, we'll give you, your little fun. Go have your lucid dream. Go take a fly, and then we'll get back to what really needs to be done. But it was so funny. Just set the intention right before you go to sleep. I'm gonna have a lucid dream tonight. And I woke up and I'm like, well, thanks for that. Not exactly on the wow factor, but thanks anyway. Yeah. And just intention to do something. That intention has to be really strong. Like I said, I mentioned by location, which I've done a few times, that the intention was like severely strong, where I literally had to be in 2 places at the same time. And without a thought, just split. It just happens. So intention, people talk about trust and say, how do you people do all these amazing things? It's after doing these amazing things for decades, trust is like, okay, I trust myself. So it takes a long time to get things under your belt and be able to have the experiences that you have and seeing beings or lucid dreams or even in mediumship. And the trust is like, okay, I trust myself. So let's put the trust away for now, because we got that. And then everything just flows. It just happens beautifully.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I think the same way. For for me, what I would call off-planet dreams, they just happen when they happen. Just like when I have a medical qigong session with Michael, we have no preconceptions of what may or may not happen. We just go in and lay down on the acupuncture table, and the energy work starts to happen. And, like we're immediately surrounded, like with my team of guys. It feels like we have this huge crew in the room.
Yeah.
Sometimes things start to happen even before then. I can be sitting in the waiting room and things begin to happen, like visions and energetic presences, things like that. There's something that I was going to mention. I might have lost it.
Well, I mean, I know I did want to mention your experience.
Sorry, I just remembered.
Okay.
One of the things that I wanted to clarify, because I think this is really important, why the experiences that I'm having with Michael and medical qigong, why this is helping to have these higher level experiences myself. And I should also mention that during a session, Michael is also having visions, also having experiences, like sometimes seeing particular star beings that are helping us. And in one of Rosie McKnight's books, she talked about dreaming and having the kind of off-planet experiences that she has. She talks about the importance of having balance within one's system, because if one doesn't have balance, then a lot of time during sleep is spent by the body trying to balance things out. But if there is a good state of balance, then you can go off and do a lot more of the higher work. So when I found that description in one of her books, I thought, well, this makes perfect sense, because here Michael is working on balancing out the energy system.
How would you know that you're balanced or not? I mean, is it something that you sense, or does Michael see that for you? I mean, how do you know if you have that balance?
Oh, I sense it.
Okay, yeah.
But like with the balancing work that Michael's doing, we're going to even deeper levels, because I can get a really good experience with balancing and grounding through my own practices each day.
Right. Yeah.
But then when I have a session, we do our medical qigong every other week. Mm-hmm. So this takes the energy work, the balancing, the flow. If there's any stagnation or any blockages, that gets cleared out.
Right.
So then that definitely helps, have these higher level experiences. And, I'm also doing various Chinese herb formulas that Michael recommends. So this is also.
Let's talk about that, because I'm a herbalist as well. So let's.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
I think of it as being like internal energy work. So again, Michael is a trained Chinese herbalist, and in order to select a particular formula, Michael goes through the standard traditional Chinese medicine diagnosis methods that would be used in acupuncture, mm-hmm. Checking the pulses, checking the tongue, my eyes. He might ask me questions about what's going on in my life right now. So from this diagnosis, then he would start to think of some formulas that would be good for me to work with. And so then he goes through some of his written material. He would make a list of several formulas. Then let me show you. Actually, this is something that Joanna and I were just talking about this morning. I would bring my pendulum with me.
That's pretty.
This was recommended to me by the acupuncturist that I used before Michael. To use a pendulum to test like herbs and supplements and things like that. So I would have my pendulum, and even without the herbs being there, I would just, like mentally look at the name of each formula, and then I would test it with the pendulum, and then see which one had the
Interesting.
strongest rotation. And so we get, here, this is an example. Like, this is a kind of these are formulas from Taiwan, the KPC herb company. These are really primo.
What's in there? Which specific herbs? Do you know?
It depends on the formula. If you would wait just 2 moments, I can get the formula that I'm using now, and I can tell you exactly what's in it.
Sure, and I'll just chat away while you're doing that.
Okay.
All right, guys. As a matter of fact, I think on my profile page this morning, I wrote something about how nature knows what you need in your medicine cabinet. My backyard, where I grow all my herbs, is my medicine cabinet. So I use my intuition, and I just go in my backyard, which is all naturalized. There's no fertilizers. It's all weeds. So I'm looking around, and I found a huge patch of cleaver. I'm like, wow, that's a lot. So I gathered it this morning, which actually is what I'm drinking now, cleaver tea, because the last couple of days I felt a little poofy, so it's for the lymphatic system. So nature has my intuition focused on that part of my yard that directed me to the cleavers. And then I scanned the rest of which is loaded with herbs. Just about every single thing in my garden is edible. Then I went to this patch of St. John's wort. And last year, I don't know how it got there, but I found it for the first time last year. It was an itty bitty thing. And I looked at it this morning, and it's huge. It's like knee high. I'm like, whoa. Isn't that a pretty thing? And there's been a lot of, family stuff going on, the last couple of weeks for myself with how that family stuff works. And the St. John's wort helps balance the blues. Like if you're feeling a little down and whatnot, St. John's wort will help you feel a little happier. So it's interesting. So I focused on the cleavers and St. John's wort. I didn't take the St. John's wort yet. I already have it in a tincture form, which I might do later on today, or maybe another tea. But it's I just use my intuition and say, okay, where am I in my yard am I drawn to, and why?
Yeah.
So what you got there?
Here's the formula, and if I can pronounce this, the Shi Quan Da Bu Tong. Also means 10 treasures.
Oh,
that's another name for this. So some of these things I can't quite pronounce, but ginseng root, astragalus, dong quai, white peony, cinnamon bark, licorice root, ginger, jujube. That's not all of them. There's
right.
Things that my tongue could not pronounce.
I mean, I know, because your
But
eyes see one way and the mouth is like, nope, not saying that.
But each one of these formulas does very specific things.
Yeah.
And how I think of also doing the herbal formulas is that it is a way of continuing the energy treatments between medical qigong sessions.
Yeah, definitely. From the inside, you mentioned the cinnamon bark. I know that helps regulate blood sugar.
Yes,
sugar levels and a lot of the other things. I have not used myself, but just the cinnamon.
Usually when I try a new formula, I have an energetic sense of it right off the bat. And so then with this formula, what I felt first was lower body warmth, like in the stomach area, the intestines, warmth, and then nurturing and calming.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good thing to have.
One can look up online each of these formulas. You can find like a traditional Chinese medicine website that would go into detail about exactly what these formulas do and how each of the ingredients works in a synchronatic way.
Yeah.
For the whole.
As a matter of fact, I think just about a week ago, I was talking to my friend Lindsay Wavelength that's here. We were talking about through somebody's comment about a Chinese medicine wheel. And somebody was saying that, I wake up at 2:00 every day or 3:00, 4:00, whatever it is. And for a while there, I was doing the same. And something led me to look into why am I waking up at 3:00 every day? And then I happened to stumble upon this Chinese medicine wheel. And each time represents a body part, so perhaps I overindulged, with the spirits and my liver was letting me know. And that time, whatever it is, 4:00, was the liver part of the medicine wheel saying, yeah, your liver is not liking all that you drank last night. So that's why you are now awake, because your liver is screaming. Or whatever time your heart, your intestines, your liver, your lungs. And that resonated with me. Once I found this wheel and I said, okay, well, for example, if I got over a cold or something and I was waking up at whatever time and happened to be the lung section on this Chinese medicine wheel, I'm like, okay, so my lungs are weak at this time. So I would do exercises to open up the chest area and reach high, fresh air. Also reflexology, when you rub here and also on that part of your foot is extremely helpful. And then I just stopped waking up at that time until some other body part said, I need some help. And then I'd wake up and it's like, okay, let me go to this chart. It's very helpful. So for all you people who are waking up at the same time every day, and sometimes it's a spiritual thing, so you have to have discernment. Just check out the Chinese medicine wheel, and it tells you, breaks up the time for the body part that might be in a little jeopardy, that might need a little help. Very helpful.
Right. Yeah. I think it's time to talk about some star beings.
Yes, we have like 10 minutes. We can go slightly over an hour, but I try to keep it in an hour, because for the replay, people are like, wow, this is a really long video. But if it's, let's talk about star beings. Definitely.
Do you have a question about them?
I had painted one. I should have had that painting nearby. Hold on one second. Let me see if here it is. Because I was just, when I did my live with Joanna, of course, we were talking about beings and stuff. And I've had experiences with aliens, that I call them aliens, that actual physical ones that I've seen with my physical eye, that I did a post on it. You guys can go read it on my publication, scroll all the way down in the archives, The Alien That Touched My Nose. It's really amazing, where this alien that I saw in my room literally walked up to me, and she put her finger on my forehead and went right down my nose like a mother would. So I felt a very strong mother love. But anyway, so I painted this pretty thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
This is crazy, because I've been painting since I was 10, and I paint landscapes and woods, and that obviously was a channel. So I'm painting it, and these colors come blasting in. Everything was done except her head here. And I had a conversation with her, And I'm like, okay, we're done with this painting, but I need to see your face. I'm not going to get scared. You know, it was just an odd point in that painting that she did not let me see her face. I'm clairvoyant, so I could see these things.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're having this conversation. I'm like, well, you know, I have everything else, right down to the detail of the jewelry you're wearing. Just show me your face. And then finally, I saw this quick glimpse of her face. I painted it. I'm like, thank you. So I don't know what kind she is. You know, I just know that it's a she, and she has a little one here, and she has a beautiful dress, and she's got this is actual crystal, and she's throwing, and these are like energy beads, and she's throwing this in between worlds, portals. So she's some kind of energy healer. Not quite sure, but that's who I saw.
Yeah.
So tell me about the ones that you have experiences with.
Well, there's a lot of them, and some of them I have an idea of what they are. Some of them, you know, like where they might be from. Some of them I don't know exactly what they are or where they're from.
Is that even important? Do we need to put a title on these creatures, or just enjoy their presence?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And you know, I think people can get hung up on a particular star system or whatever, but you know, like what I get from my guys is that the important thing is having the connection that we have, and then doing the work that we're here to do. You know, it's, you know, and not overthink it. But I guess a short backstory here is that for quite a few years, when I received training about how to do qigong energy work to help others, it wasn't medical qigong, but it was another approach, you know, like maybe more like Reiki, of you know, like focusing, and then just letting a flow of energy, you know, go through you to help another person. And there were times when family members would ask me to do that for them, and whenever I did, I felt this presence behind me. And it felt like there was this powerful flow of energy coming through me and then to the other person. And so all this time, I didn't know what this was. And then after I started working with Michael, and he was telling me about Robert Monroe and the Institute, he then suggested I get this hemisync recording from the Institute, and it was called something like Going Into the Light. This was a series of different ones, and this particular one was called Meeting Your Guides.
Oh,
yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah,
So,
I'm just going to interrupt again for a second. I had an experience with meeting your guides in a class that I took, and weird stuff happened. yeah, it was amazing. But I'm not familiar with the meditation that you're speaking of, but I know how powerful it could be. Very powerful.
Well, yeah. This was using hemisync. Like the recording had that sound technology in it, and so you would listen to it with stereo headphones, and so it was a very easy experience. It was very relaxing, and in this recording, they take you through like a relaxation phase and a method of like kind of attuning yourself more to the hemisync energies. Then there was a point where I had a visualization of my guide, and I realized that she had been this presence
Oh, wow.
all this time, but I had no idea what it was.
Hmm.
And I saw her as being a reptoid star being.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, as an aside, I use that terminology rather than reptilian because reptilian has a lot of baggage.
Yeah.
But there was nothing dark whatsoever about her. She was completely benevolent. Another indication of her state of consciousness is that she has a great sense of humor.
Oh, that's always good.
And it would seem to me that someone having a dark agenda wouldn't be real good at telling jokes. But we found that she has a really good sense of humor, and various ways she would play some jokes on Michael from time to time in our sessions. But I felt this powerful feeling and this ancient connection with her. And then from there, I bit by bit, I discovered that she's with a team of guides, star beings from various systems that are helping me. And so I would see a couple of Palladians, a couple of Arcturians, usually one mantis being.
Wow.
Then there was some that I just wasn't sure exactly what they are. A vision came to me of a tall, feminine, blue, a light blue colored being. Trying to think of some of the other. There were times when we would just have. I was describing them as energy beings.
Oh, yeah.
They would appear to be translucent.
Mm-hmm.
Fairly recently, there was another feminine star being, and Michael described her because, sometimes Michael sees them, sometimes I see them, sometimes we both see them. But he described her as having, she was humanoid, had like a pinkish skin, and then like a bump in her forehead.
A bump?
A bump.
Oh.
Yeah.
What, like a horn bump or?
No. Just like an oval bump, like a semicircle.
Okay.
If you go round.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, or maybe oval.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just the quality about that. So,
wow.
Again, know much about her, but she has added a particular energetic quality to the team. And so there's been a number of experiences during our qigong sessions that, like we feel her working with us. A couple years ago, there was another being, and this was also humanoid, and Michael described him as having darker skin. And when I got home, I did a energy reading with the pendulum, and what I got is that he's from the Alnilam system.
Oh, wow.
And he's been a great help to us.
That's a nice reach you have there, Roger.
I'm sorry.
That's a nice reach that you have of all those beings.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There was one more. It was a blue avian star being.
Mm.
This guy came maybe last year, and that was really a surprise because I had heard about avian beings for a number of years, but this was the first experience that we had with them. And again, it feels like another addition to the team. Each one of these beings has particular qualities, and they're obviously working together. And sometimes other other beings help, for something in particular. I was just thinking of a particular experience I had maybe 3 years ago, and two mantis beings helped me with that, and I understood that they were working in collaboration with the single mantis that's on my team. So beings can kind of come and go. They can kind of switch it up, but it looks like there's a basic core group, that has been helping me.
Well, I've had experiences with aliens and shapeshifters and gargoyles and angels and all kinds of things. But what's interesting is that if it seems beautiful and amazing, it is not always. Because my team, I guess you can just call it, has put me through so many tests. I was in my one of my rooms here in the house a few years back, and I saw these beautiful pearls just drop in front of me, and they were glowing and they were beautiful. I'm like, wow. I go, I wonder what that is. Maybe it's an angel. Then I literally felt like a slap on my head, and they're like, okay, listen, Donna, just because it looks pretty and amazing, it does not mean you have to use your senses. I'm like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. So after that little lesson, every single thing that I see, whether it looks pretty or it looks a little ugly, before I react and have a chat with it, I just close my eyes and I go through my senses. What does it look like? What does it feel like? What does it smell like? Do I feel safe? And I just go through all the senses. And if everything is good, then I proceed. Mm-hmm. And, even, before when you mentioned, meeting a meditation or meeting your guide, that I need to do a live about that one day. That was intense, crazy life progressions. And at one point when I was about to really learn who I was, the shapeshifter just appeared. It was half dragon, half man, half goat, and it kept changing. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, what are you? And I got this just, bad feeling. I'm like, okay, this is not going to continue. So you need to go away. Mm-hmm. And I just got really angry. I'm like, you need to go away. And I need to proceed with my meditation to find out, meet my guides or past life regressions, whatever it was. So, but yeah, I mean, it's very important to, no matter if you see an alien or a mantis or an angel, don't say, oh, how pretty right away. Just look at it right away, and just look at it and discern, what is it? What is it? What does it feel like? Is it okay? Because sometimes things like, okay, they think that I'm something good. I'm just going to stay here. And then maybe a year from now, I'm going to cause havoc in your life. They build your trust. I mean, not that it's happened to me, but I've heard stories, and this is where the senses come in, where I every day I continue to work on mine. And that's one thing that I really try to convey to everybody, is to work on your senses. They come in handy.
Yeah, that's definitely good advice. With the experiences that Michael and I have had, we have not had anything other than absolutely wonderful encounters.
Right.
And there's always a sense of equality. There's always a sense of love, mutual respect. Always a sense that we're teammates.
Oh, that's good. That's good that you sense that and know that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, there've been messages too. Mm-hmm. I guess I wanted to say that, like with my team, one of the things that just makes sense, like on all levels, is how at a soul level, in working out a life plan with our team, and like whatever beings and birth angels that were working with us, if we're going to have connections with star beings, that's part of our plan.
Yeah.
The particular star beings that we're going to work with, that's part of our plan. And just like, like I think about the collaboration that Michael and I have, anything conceivably could have gone wrong in my life to derail me finding Michael.
Right.
Even living in the particular town in Maryland where I am, anything could have thrown that off, but it didn't.
It was meant to be. Yeah.
It was the very strong life plan. Here we are.
Yeah.
And the way that Michael and I are working together, it's very clear to us that it was, absolutely destined for us to work together. So that was part of both of our plans. But I'd also like to say that, I have to think for a moment here. A bunch of years ago, a message came to me out of the blue. And it said one of the most important things in all of this work that we're doing is to remember who and what we are.
Oh, yeah.
And I think this is a key part of disclosure that is not talked about in what I just might call UFO circles. The particular lane that I see myself working on is with consciousness. And part of remembering who and what we are is tapping into our higher selves and how we are so much more than a human being having one life on this one planet. There's so much more to us. So a big part of my work and the experiences that I'm having is tapping into remembering who we are. And so from that standpoint, that higher level levels of ourselves, we ourselves are star beings.
Oh, yeah.
We're source energy beings having a human life right now, at this time on Earth for the particular work that we're here to do. And so I don't know if this is bilocating, that you were talking about earlier, but I have very distinct experiences of having like my human life here, being grounded in it, and then also having experiences of what I'd call my Palladian self. We've had many, many experiences of having this vision. And as an interesting collaboration, I have a very good friend in West Virginia, and she's very, very deep into these experiences. And she's told me that there's times that she sees herself on a starcraft and she sees me there, as my Palladian self. But I also want to say that, we are much more than just a particular star system. One of the hemisync experiences that I had, I saw myself in a library, and I don't know if this was the Akashic records or exactly what it was, but I saw records. All of these records were just almost infinite. And it was like all of my lifetimes, all of the experiences that I had, and I think of it as being a continuum, like a vast, infinite continuum. And I saw myself in many, many, many different star systems. And so when I think about the connection that I have with the Electra system and the Pleiades, that's very deep. But I also have experiences and connections with Arcturus and also Alnilam and Alcyon in the Pleiades, and also Mars. So there's all of these connections that I feel that are a part of me. And since they are a part of me, it's very easy to connect then with star beings that are having that matching frequency.
Ooh, so that's a good point, a matching frequency.
Yeah, this is something that Anouk and I have talked about in our videos. The idea of like frequency match.
Yeah.
And this ties into like with Michael and I having the experiences that we're having, because through the energy work that we're doing, and because we've done so much of it, that without even thinking about it, without a thought, here I am at a higher level of higher vibratory level of myself. And then it's very easy to have this connection like with one or more of the star beings, because we're having that frequency match. And I remember Rosie McKnight talking about this in her books, and she says, in this respect, like attracts like, again, through frequency match.
Frequency and vibration. Roger, we need like a part 2, because I want to talk about the pyramids and more of these beings, but we're out of time. We're at an hour and 15 minutes.
Yep.
So
Yep.
thank you so much for this.
Well, thank
tell
you.
Tell us about your podcast and the name of it. And again, mention the people that Michael and Monroe, Robert Monroe, mention the people that we should follow.
Yeah, Michael Perfetto, Anouk Sophia. My website is rogeraldridge.com. And I started that to be my music website, but with all these experiences that we're having, I have a separate section of it that's called Out and About. So just go to rogeraldridge.com, and then there you'll see in the navigation menu Out and About, and go to that. That has
a lot of information, a lot of stories.
Yeah, going on 10 years, 10 years worth of blogs, collections, videos that I've done with some Anouk, and I'd like to see if I can do a link to this. And if I can do a link to this, I could add it to my website.
Yeah, well, once it uploads to Substack, and then it gets posted on my page, it might be posted on yours as well. But I'll make sure that you have the link, when it goes live. Thank you so much. This was so interesting. I loved it. I want to talk more. Thank you, everybody who was here, who joined us today, and thank you for your comments. Go to Roger's page. His out and about. He's got a lot of really cool experiences. I started reading, and I think I commented like, okay, wow, this is too much for me to read. Let's just talk about this and more. Like
if we do a part 2, you'll discover that it's just not one pyramid.
I'm sure.
How's that for a teaser?
It's not a teaser at all. And I had an experience with the Akashic records inside the pyramid and the wise ones that I'd like to share with that story as well.
Excellent.
Let's plan on that, Roger. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Good show.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.